All right, so we're ready to move on with this lesson. Okay, uh, you should have added the album table to your database, and if you don't, or if you're not sure, rather, here's how we can find out. You see, once you've typed all those statements and copied them, pasted them into your MySQL server, you should be complete with those tables. And we'll look at the schema later. But in the MySQL server, what we're going to do is we're going to type this command show tables. So if I come over here inside of my MySQL server and I type show tables, semicolon, don't forget your semicolon, and hit enter. And here you can see that I have 4 tables that are listed. I have my album, artist, band, and label. So all of those tables are inside the database. Great, cool. And you can notice that if it means something or not, but it helps you find it. The tables are alphabetized, as you can see here, not specifically in the order that we wrote them, but they're alphabetized. Okay. Now let's type this command inside your SQL server, DESC album. Okay, let's type that out. So DESC album, don't forget semicolon, hit enter. And what you see here is the description of the table that we've selected. Okay, so if we look at it, we'll see the schema of the album table. All right, and I'm gonna make it a little bit larger if I can. In fact, I'll just do that just to get the for the moment. Okay, yeah, so I'm gonna be able to see this fully. So here we go. This is the album table. It lists all of the fields right here: album ID, title, artist ID, band ID, label ID, year release, date created, last update. Also, you can see that it has listed the types for each one as well. Null, it lets us know if this field can be null or not. So like album ID, no, that cannot be null. We stated that. The title can be null. I don't know why we have it that way, but there's not a titleless album, but whatever. We set that to null. Artist ID, band ID, label ID, we see those are null. The year release, date created, last update, those can be null. However, they won't be. Particularly, well, the date created last update, because we have a default current timestamp on that. We also have keys here. So PRI for primary key, that lets us know that album ID is a primary key. And multi, this is referring to our foreign keys. All right. If there's a default value, it's listed here. It's either null or you see here current timestamp. Don't worry about here the album ID, even though it reads null right there. It's not going to show up null. And then any kind of extra information that we have is like album ID. We set that to auto increment, and here we see default generated. So in other words, this is happening on the instance that an entry is included. So that's very useful information. When you're building a database, you want to see how it's structured. Okay, that was going to help you later on. Okay, so we're still with create. Okay, we're still in the create realm, but now we need to create entries into our database. And let me pause for a second because I need to charge up this laptop of mine. Live streaming where errors are made, but we don't care because we keep it real around here. All right, here we go. Now let's add some data to the database. All this is happening inside of our data .sql file. Okay, so we're not in the schema file now. We're going to move over into the data file. And here's the syntax for it. See what it looks like. We use the enter into statement. So insert into a table, whichever table that we're entering. And then we list out the fields in parentheses. So field 1, field 2, all the way to however many fields that we're entering into the table. You don't have to use all of them, but whichever ones we're using. Okay. And then values, you see value 1, value 2, so on and so forth. And these are inside parentheses and separated by commas as well. Okay. So you see, now here's where it can get a little tricky, okay? Because we're using, parentheses and commas, sometimes quotation marks, so it can get a little tricky here, okay? But if you understand how it's working, okay, then you'll be able to handle your mistakes a little better. So it's not necessarily about not making mistakes, okay? But it is about understanding how it should look so that when you do make a mistake, you know how to fix it, okay? So let's start off. Let's add our first artist that we have inside of our table. We're going to add Erykah Badu. So let's come over here into our data.sql, okay? And I'm going to make a comment right here. And again, to make a comment, if you are a Mac user, then you're going to press Command and slash like so. If you are a PC user, it's Control and slash. So I'm going to make a comment right here. I'm just going to say insert artist right there. Comments are just for us as developers so that we can look at and understand the flow of our work. That's why I use them. They're very important. So, add comments as much as you can. So I'm going to say insert into, this is going in the artist table. So insert into artist. And I like to do this on a separate line. So I'm going to add the F name and the last name. I think is what we have here. Yep, first name and last name. And then values. You don't have to put this on a separate line if you don't want to. That's just what I prefer to do because I like my stuff to be readable. Erykah Badu. Just like so. And you can see here again, I need to fix that. That needs to be a quotation, quote right there, open quote right there. Okay, there we go. Like I said, it can be a little tricky. So insert into artist, open parentheses, and then my fields. The first field is the F name or first name. That needs to go in quotes. And then the second field is last name, also in quotes. Notice each field is separated by a comma. All of my fields are inside of parentheses. And then I say values, open parentheses. And then the first entry is Erykah. Second entry is Badu, close parentheses. And then to close the statement, I use a semicolon, okay? And it needs to be formatted like this, okay? Again, it doesn't have to be all on separate lines, but this is how it needs to look, okay? So that way it takes first name, matches it with Erykah. Last name matches it with Badu. And we can copy, bring it over here into the SQL Server, and paste. Oh, and it says I have an error somewhere. Insert an artist first name, last name, values, Erykah Badu. You have errors. Check the manual corresponding version of syntax near first name, last name. Let me see. Maybe because I put it all on different lines. Maybe that's what it is. I doubt it, but we'll see. Yep. That's not what it is. Let's see, insert into artist, first name, last name. And what error did I make? Insert into artist. I don't see the error. Insert into artist. First name, last name. Let me see. Well, this is popping up. Let me see. I'm going to describe artist. If I can spell it right, describe artist. There we go. F name, L name. So that name be. Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, thank you. Absolutely right. No quotes around that. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. First name. Aha. I knew that. I was just making sure you all paying attention. I'm joking. I messed that up. Like I said, I'm not perfect. So so insert an artist's first name, last name, no quotes around the fields, and then drop that in there. There we go. Thank you very much. You get the dime of knowledge. We used to do that in the Coding Academy here in Jackson. Like if someone gets a question right, like it couldn't be like an easy question, it had to be something um, you know, pretty difficult. You get the dime of knowledge, you get to hold on to it for a day. And we had like this chant and everything for it. So you felt really special receiving the dime of knowledge. But anyways, there we go. So yeah, make sure there's no quotes around first name and last name. Okay. And first name Erica, last name Badu. Drop it in there, save it. Okay. And it should work. Yes, question. Okay, well look at the errors after the video. Yes. All right. So as as one of my rules, when I'm entering information, you can see right here, it's always a good practice to insert one first before you do it in bulk. One, you want to make sure that it's working correctly, okay, which we had to do. And then secondly, it creates a nice boilerplate for when you want to add to the table in the future. So when you're um, entering the data into the database, always good to do a test run with one entry first to make sure that everything works. And if that works, okay, then that lets you know, okay, well, now I can go in and add the rest of the data. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to come back over here and I just come and copy this right here, just the first part of my statement. And so values, and now I can enter the rest of the data. And so I want to be coming all the way back. I know John Coltrane is 2, Miles Davis, Aretha, Carole King, and Common. I got that. John Coltrane, Miles Davis, Aretha Franklin, Carole King, Common. Yeah. All right. So let's add them in. So insert into artist, first name, last name. And so these, okay, so I'm gonna say John Coltrane, and each parentheses pair, each value group is gonna be separated by a comma, like so. So make sure that after each one of these parentheses, you're also adding a comma. It's Miles Davis, Aretha Franklin, and Carole King, and then Common. And here I need to specify null since there is no last name for him. So got all that. Come over here and copy this, baby. Go in here and paste it. And it works just fine. Cool. So check those. Check your spelling. Check your syntax. Okay. Make sure again that is grouped properly. And some people like to just have their code scattered. They don't really think about it, or maybe it's just not important to them. But it's very important to me, the way I write my code, and I like my stuff to be written neatly, because I'm not the only person that's putting eyes on it. There's hundreds of people that are looking at my code all the time. So it's like I have to write it in such a way that is very legible, very neat, so that you can see what's going on, and how I'm doing things. Because I don't have to have all of these entries inside on their own line. I can have them on the same line if I want to. That's perfectly fine. But again, it makes it a lot more readable when I do it this way. So once you've done that, copy it and paste it. See if it works. You should read records 5, duplicate 0. Okay. Warning 0. All right. And let's do that for the band and label as well while we're here. So I'm going to say, make a comment, say insert band. So I'm going to say insert into band. It's going to be just a band. And then I'm going to say, not you right there. I'm going to say values. And then band number 1. See, I know it's 6 bands. Black Sabbath, Doors, Earth, Wind & Fire, Jackson 5, Led Zeppelin, Roots. Black Sabbath, Doors, Earth, Wind & Fire, Jackson 5, Led Zeppelin, Roots. See if I can get this. All I do studies, it just keeps my brain, make sure it's working properly. Give it a little exercise, just like the body. Black Sabbath, The Doors, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Jackson 5, Led Zeppelin, and The Roots. And after that, put a semicolon. Now, yeah, I'm breaking my own rule right here, where I'm not doing one first, which you should. But I'm just moving just a little bit fast because, recording a video. So I'm going to copy that, paste it, works just fine, cool. And then do the labels. So we'll say insert label. Insert into label, values. I know it's A&M. And I think it's Atlantic. After that, I'm stumped. Columbia, Electra, Geffen. Let's see. Columbia, Electra, Geffen, And I think after that was Impulse. That's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's Motown. There was Warner Brothers, MCA. So MCA, Motown, and Warner Brothers. MCA, Motown, Warner Brothers. So if any of these record labels or entities, be it the artist or the band, if you feel so inclined to contribute to this YouTube video by dropping me a few $1,000s, I would greatly appreciate it. That'd be so awesome of you if you were to do that. All right, they're all in there. Cool. So, again, right here at this point, you can pause the video and get all of the information inside of your data file. Copy it, paste it one at a time to make sure that it works smoothly. If it does not, if you get some type of error, go back and look at it, check your spelling, check your parentheses and commas, check your quotation marks. That's usually where the errors are. Check those and then run it back to your SQL server. All right. Now let's look at the album. Okay, let's add the first album. Okay, so I'm gonna say put a comma right there. Insert album. And the first album that I want to add is Love Supreme. That was the very first one. So I'm going to come over here and again, I'm going to type describe album. So I need the title, the artist ID, the band ID, label ID, year released. I'm not going to worry about timestamp. Date created and last update, because those are going to enter as soon as I enter the field in. It's going to stamp it. But the title, artist ID, band ID, label ID, year released. I need those. So let me do something. Let me be considerate of the people that are watching my YouTube video. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to say insert into album. We said the title, the artist ID, band ID, label ID, and year released. I'm going to enter those fields in. Okay. Now say values. So the first one is going to be A Love Supreme. That's the title. The artist ID. Well, how would I find the artist ID? I don't know. Well, I'll tell you right now, it's going to be 2. We'll look and see deeper how we can figure that out. Look at my data model that we made. That's what we stored it as. So the artist ID is 2. The band ID is null. The label ID is going to be 6. Again, we'll look and see how we can find that. The ID is 6 for the label, and then the year release is 1964. Looks good. Let me check it. Title, artist ID, band ID, label ID, year release. Notice each entry is separated by a comma. This is a mistake that you will make, because I know I make it as well. Make sure that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different fields that we're filling in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 looks good. I'm gonna copy that and I'm going to paste it, and I get an error. it says that the column band ID cannot be null. Notice here, band ID, we said it cannot be null. So if we run into an issue right here, logically speaking, this isn't a syntax issue. This is an issue with the logic where we said, hey, initially, when we built out the table, if we look at the band, we look at the album table rather, and we said the band ID small int unsigned not null. But now when we look at this, we do want that to be null, or the possibility where it can be null. We want that option. Same thing with artist ID. We want the option to where it can be null because we know based on our data model, some of the albums have a band ID and then some have an artist ID. And the one that it doesn't have is represented by null. So we have to fix that. You can see here, we run into a major problem in our schema. We set the band ID to null, meaning it cannot accept a null value, and we need to make it another alteration to the table. So we have to alter the table again. And this time to alter the table, we're going to use modify as opposed to add, where we added the column. Now we're going to modify the column. All right. And so let's do that now. This is also going to happen in our schema. We can keep that right here in our alterations, all in the same place. So I'm going to say alter table. I'm altering band. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify. What am I going to modify? What column? The band ID column. I'm going to modify it to small int unsigned auto increment, or I could just say small int unsigned. I'm going to say small int unsigned. I think I do want to go ahead and leave the auto increment on there. That should work. So we need to alter the table. What we've done here, simply just removing not null from band ID inside of the band table. Is that correct? No, that's not correct. We need to do that in album. I'll say I had to think about it. Let me change that. Change that to alter table album. And that's why I don't need that auto increment. There we go. So alter table album, modify band ID, small int unsigned. Whew. You gotta be checking your stuff. Alter table album, modify band ID, small int unsigned. Looks good. Let me copy and paste that. That works just fine. So I'm gonna do the same thing for the artist ID. So alter table, still gonna be album. Modify artist ID. That's what? Small int unsigned as well. Okay. Copy that and paste. Cool. That works. Now that that works, I should be able to come back over here and insert the very first album into the database, and it worked just fine. Great. So as you can see here, sometimes when you're building the database and as you're entering data, you may need to make some changes to your database. You need to update your schema or alter your schema rather in order for it to work properly. And we did just that. Okay. So now it works fine. So yeah, that's pretty much it with, well, not pretty much it, but that's what you need to know for Create right now. Okay. So practice with this. Go ahead and enter the rest of the albums into the database and should work just fine. So we'll do that, and I'll see you in the next video.